What's new YouTube? C0L3 here, back with a brand new video. And today, as y'all can tell by the title, today we got a special video. We're gonna be reading the 48 Laws of Power. Right? This is gonna be part two. Y'all liked part one, so why not keep up the series? And before we get into this video, make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe down below. Join the movement. Without further ado, let's get into it. Right? So today we're going to be checking out law number 4. Law number 4. Always say less than necessary. Always say less than necessary. And just some quick thoughts before we get into this topic, man. You kind of just always want to be aloof. You always want to be mysterious. And when you say less, those things kind of, what I'm saying, those things kind of get what's the word? Those attributes kind of get highlighted when you say less than necessary. So let's start with the judgment here. Y'all. And if you guys have this book, try to read along with me. But yeah, let's get started. When you are trying to impress people with words, the more you say, the more common you appear, and the less in control. Even if you're saying something banal, it will seem original if you make it vague, open-ended, and sphinx-like. Powerful people impress and intimidate by saying less. The more you say, the more likely you are to say something foolish. And this is so true. Y'all ever been on like a date or something, or you just getting to meet a girl, and y'all talking, y'all get to knowing each other, and you kind of like you over saying, like you continue the conversations, you over telling yourself, you over trying to sell yourself. When you over try to sell yourself in anything, somebody's gonna think, oh, this might be a scam, or oh, this is a catch. Even if you think of like a salesman or something, if he's over trying to sell you something, oh no, bro, I got the best watch, I got an Apple Watch here. He just comes up to you off the street. Oh, bro, I got an Apple Watch here. Just come buy it from me. So, but why would I buy it from you when they sell them at the store and I know it's legit at the store? What's the difference between you and the store, right? So somebody's trying to get over here, you know what I'm saying? So it all just comes down to how you market yourself and how you get what I'm saying, how you present yourself, because nobody's gonna want to buy an Apple Watch off the street, off the dude off the street, than to buy it from the official store that has more credibility. The store has more credibility than the guy off the street. So who would you trust more, the store or the guy off the street that you don't know? Exactly. So it's important to just say less, like, than necessary. And that's just an example for sales and stuff like that. But yeah, let's go into the next page. All right, transgression. Matter of fact, I don't think, did we read the transgression last time? I think we just read the keys to the power. The keys to the power, right? I think we skip over the transgressions. Here we go. We skip all this, right? This is all good information. So if you guys have the book, highly recommend that you read the transgressions of the law, because it kind of breaks it down, and it gives you like a real life scenario where saying less is important, and then it gives you a reversal, like it gives you a scenario where somebody didn't say it as much as they needed to say, and it cost them, right? So going down to the observance here, because if we read all this, the video is gonna be like, we're gonna be here for a minute if we read all this, right? So observance of the law, right? In the court of Louis the 14th, nobles and ministers would spend days and nights debating issues to the state. They would confer, argue, make and break alliances, and argue again until finally the critical moment arrived. Two of them would be chosen to represent different sides of Louis himself, who would decide what should be done. After these persons were chosen, everyone would argue more. How should this issue be phrased? What would appeal to Louis? What would annoy him? And at the time of day, should the representatives approach him? And then what of the Versailles palace? What expression should they have on their faces? Finally, after all this was settled, the fateful moment would finally arrive. The two men would approach Louis, always a delicate matter, and when they finally had his ear, they would talk about the issue at hand, spelling out the options in detail. Louis would listen in silence, a most ig, enigmatic, in, enigmatic look on his face. Finally, when each had finished the presentation, he asked for the king's option, for the king's opinion. He would look at both of them and say, "I shall see." Then he would walk away. The ministers and courtiers would never hear another word of this subject from the king. They would simply see the result weeks later when he would come to a decision and act. He would never bother to consult them on the matter again. Interpretation. Louis XIV was a man of very few words. His most famous remark is "Latet simos," which I'm not even going to try. I apologize for that. I did just try though. then I am the state. That means I am the state. Nothing could be more pithy yet more eloquent. His infamous "I shall see" was one of the several extremely short phrases that he would apply to the manners of requests. Louis was not always this way. As a young man, he was known for talking at length, delighting in his own eloquence. His later taciturnity was self-imposed, an act, a mask he used to keep everybody blew him off balance. Now, ooh, no, no one knew exactly where he stood or could predict his reactions. No one could try to deceive him by saying what they thought he wanted to hear, because no one knew what he wanted to hear. As they talked on in silence, Louis, they revealed more and more about themselves, information he would later use against them to great effect. Okay, so the more and more that you express yourself, the more and more that you tell people about yourself, the more and more people know, you know, how to use that to their advantage. You get what I'm saying? And that's what they're basically saying here. So, and it's saying specifically that, he used to be a talker. He used to talk. He used to talk, 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 talk. But what he realized is that he was just giving people ammunition, you know, to hurt him in the long run, or to expose information about him in the long run, right? So that's what happens when we, what I'm saying, we always running our mouths, or we trying to, overcompensate or over explain, or, just trying to, please people with our words. We're not only doing a disservice to them, because most of the time they don't care. Like, people don't really care about what you have to say. But we're also doing a disservice to ourselves, because now we might reveal some important information about, something that we wasn't supposed to reveal, or maybe it came too early, or maybe we said something too early. We wanted to save that for a later date. So it's always just say less than necessary. Always just good to be silent and just be unreadable, and but you don't want to be a mute. You don't want to be like, this cold person, and you still want to be confident and have like personality and have social skills. So when somebody does say something to you, or a topic does come up in discussion, you're able to express your thoughts, and in a respectful manner. But you also want to be mindful that you don't want to go on tangents. And that's something that I got to work on, because these videos I'll be going on tangents, man. Like, I just be talking and talking, then I'll bring up another point, then I'll bring up how it comes back to this point. You know what I'm saying? You don't really want to go on too many tangents, like when you're socializing and when you're networking with people. And yeah, so in the end, Louis' silence kept those around him terrified and under his thumb. It was one of the foundations of his power. As Saint Simon wrote, no one knew as well as he, no one knew as well as he how to sell his words, his smile, even his glances. Everything in him was valuable because he created differences, and his majesty was enhanced by the sparingness of his words. Okay? It is even more damaging for a minister to say foolish things than to do them. Keys to the power, right? Power is in many ways a game of appearances. And when you say less than necessary, you will inevitably appear greater and more powerful than you are. Your silence will make other people uncomfortable. Humans are machines of interpretation and explanation. They have to know what you are thinking When you carefully control what you reveal, they cannot pierce your intentions or your meetings. So you ever been in a room with somebody and everybody else is talking, everybody else is having a good time, but there's this one individual that's not saying nothing, right? There's this one individual that's staying to themselves, that's not really talking, that's just out the way, right? And I've noticed this too. Like I'm real observant. I notice a lot of things. Then you just like you're drawn. It's like you're naturally drawn to them. Like you're naturally like, well, why isn't this person, saying anything? Why aren't they engaging in conversations? Why aren't they laughing like the rest of us? You know what I'm saying? So it just naturally draws people to you when you're silent and when you don't really have much to say, or because people will constantly think like, oh, what is this person thinking? I wonder how they feel. You know what I'm saying? You'll constantly be on somebody's mind when you say less than necessary, or you don't even talk as much as everybody else, right? Um, right, right. What? Somehow we got the law of five. My fault, yo. All right. So your short answers and silence will put them on the defensive, and they will jump in nervously, filling the silence with all kinds of comments that will reveal valuable information about them and their weaknesses. They will leave a meeting with you feeling as if they have been robbed, and they will go home and ponder your every word. The extra attention to your brief comments will only add to your power. Saying less than necessary is not for the kings and statesmen only. Statesmen only. In most areas of life, the less you say, the more profound and mysterious you appear. As a young man, the artist Andy Warhol had a revelation that it was generally impossible to get people to do what you wanted them to do by talking to them. They would turn against you, subvert your wishes, disobey you out of sheer per perversity. He once told a friend, I learned that you actually have more power when you shut up, right? In his later life, Warhol employed this strategy with great success. His interviews were exercises in oracle speech. He would say something vague and ambiguous, and the interviewer would twist in circles trying to figure out, imagining there was something profound behind his often meaningless phrases. Warhol rarely talked about his work. He let others do the interpreting. He claimed to have learned this technique from master of enigma Marcel Duchamp, another 20th century artist who realized early on that the less he said about his work, the more people talked about it, and the more they talked, the more valuable his work became. Wow, and that's facts, bro. So like, you ever hear the saying like, "Let your game do the talking"? You know what I'm saying? Like, for one, like, there's a lot of people love to go back and forth, and people love to go back and forth because they know that, what I'm saying, they can control you through certain words and through certain actions. That's why in the game of basketball, it's coach might tell you, let your game do the talking. Why are you talking so much? Show them with your game, right? Show them with your games, because when you show them with your game and you don't react to what people are saying to you, then that's power right there. That will always be in somebody's mind that they can't control you through what they say, because when you start talking, you actually get better. Like, okay, you like to talk. You feel me? You one of them, like, oh, you like to hear the chatters. Now I'm really about to go off. Us. You feel me? Like that's just relating it back to sports. But you want to have people, and it's crazy how these artists were able to, they didn't really explain their pieces like that. They let the people explain their pieces, right? And then internally, what that did was it made them more valuable. It made the pieces more valuable than probably what they actually were. You get what I'm saying? So, hey man, like let let it's not even let the people determine your value, but let the people talk. You know what I'm saying? Let them talk. Let them, start the conversations. Let them do the debates. You know what I'm saying? Do you see LeBron and Michael Jordan going back and forth talking about, oh yeah, I'm better than you. Oh yeah, I'm better than you. Nah, they sit back. You know what I'm saying? They drop documentaries. Well, LeBron ain't dropped his documentary yet, but wait until that happens. But Michael Jordan dropped the documentary. You know what I'm saying? And he lets the people talk. He lets the people say who's better. You know what I'm saying? You don't hear LeBron saying, "Oh, he's the GOAT, I'm the greatest." You know what I'm saying? He goes out on the court and he gets the greatest all-time scoring record. He does that. You know what I'm saying? He goes out on the court, he gets to the NBA finals. He goes out on the court, he gets the MVPs. He gets the defensive players of the years, right? So he doesn't talk himself. He lets the fans do the talking. He lets the fans interpretate who's better. And Jordan does the same thing. So, you know what I'm saying? Let's keep reading. Um, right. By saying less than necessary, you create an appearance of meaning and power. Also, the less you say, the less risk you run of saying something foolish, even dangerous. In 1825, a new Caesar Nicholas I ascended the throne of Russia. A rebellion immediately broke out, led by the liberals, demanding that the country modernize, that its industries and civil structures catch up with the rest of Europe, brutally crushing this rebellion. The Decemberist uprising, Nicholas I sentenced one of its leaders, Khan Kondraty, pronounce, forgive me for these words, but Ryleyev to death. Okay. On the day of the execution, I'm gonna just say Rye. On the day of the execution, Rye stood on the gallows and noose around his neck. The trapdoor opened, but Rye dangled. The rope broke, dashing him into the ground. At the time, events like this were considered signs of providence or heavenly will, and a man saved from execution. This way was usually pardoned. As Rye got his feet bruised and dirty, but believing his neck had been saved, he called out to the crowd. You see, in Russia, they don't know how to do anything properly, not even how to make a rope. A messenger immediately went to the Winter Palace with the news of the failed hanging. Vexed by this disappointing turnout, Nicholas, I nevertheless began to sign the pardon. But then, did Rye say anything after this miracle? The Caesar asked the messenger, Sir. The messenger replied, he said that in Russia they don't even know how to make a rope. So what do you think is about to happen? what do y'all think is about to happen? In that case, says Caesar, let us prove the contrary. And he tore up the pardon. The next day Rye was hanged again. This time the rope did not break. Learn the lesson. Once the words are out, you cannot take them back. Keep them under control. Be particularly careful with sarcasm. Wow. You see that, man? He got his life spared. And in a time period where they believed in sparing your life, you're saying you was hung by the rope broke. All right, you got a second chance. But now this guy, he decided to say, Russia don't even know how to make a rope. He said, oh, we don't know how to make a rope. He doubled back. He doubled down on that claim. And now he's no more. You get what I'm saying? So let's keep reading. The momentary satisfaction you gain with your biting words will be outweighed by the price you pay. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Wow. Authority. Never start moving your own lips and teeth before the subordinates do. The longer I keep quiet, the sooner others move their lips and teeth. As they move their lips and teeth, I can thereby understand their real intentions. If the sovereign is not mysterious, the ministers will find an opportunity to take the reversal. Let's read the reversal. There are times when it is unwise to be silent. Silence can arouse suspicion and even insecurity, especially in your superiors. A vague and ambiguous comment can open you up to interpretations you had not bargained for. Silence and saying less than necessary must be practiced with caution. Then, in the right situations, it is occasionally wiser to imitate the court jester who plays the fool but knows he is smarter than the king. He talks and entertains, and no one suspects that he is more than just a fool. Also, words can sometimes act as a kind of smokescreen for any deception you might practice. By bending your listener's ear with talk, you can distract and mesmerize them. The more you talk, in fact, the less suspicious of you they become. The verbose are not perceived as sly and manipulative, but as helpless and unsophisticated. This is the reverse of the silent policy employed by the powerful. By talking more and making yourself appear weak and less intelligent than your mark, you can practice deception with greater ease. And that is a bar. You know what I'm saying? I kind of I always wanted people to, and this is like, I always was a little bit more silly growing up. And it was a reason for that. It was because I wanted people to think that I really wasn't that smart. And I don't know why I did that. I just did that naturally. Like I really wanted people not to feel like I was that smart. But the whole time I knew in the back of my head that I was pretty smart, you know what I'm saying? But I just put up like this facade, like I was always a jokester, like I didn't know what was going on. But deep down, I always knew what was going on. You get what I'm saying? So, it's kind of funny how it says that. Um, you can put up a smoke and mirrors, but 20 minutes, y'all. Hey, we're going to close it there. What do you guys think about that law, man? Saying less than necessary. You know, interesting law. I feel like it needs to be applied. Um, I feel like it can be applied to anybody's life for just saying less than necessary. As humans, we naturally want to talk. We naturally want to brag about ourselves. We naturally want to tell people our accomplishments. We naturally want to, do these things and, just share and overshare and share some more, right? We naturally want to do that. But sometimes when you do that, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. You're putting yourself at a disservice. You're not opening up, the mystery aspect of you. You're not opening up the, just the different mystery aspects, the aloofness of you. You know what I'm saying? That's what makes you more attractive. That's what makes people drawn to you. That aloofness, that mysterious, that, oh, okay, I don't know everything about this person, but I want to know everything about this person. So let me talk to them. Let me get to know them. You get what I'm saying? But you have to, like the reversal said, you have to practice this with caution. Like, you know what I'm saying? If you're in like a business situation, right? I don't think that's the best opportunity to be silent, especially if you're trying to pitch your business to, a potential investor. Or if you have a question, in class, that's not the time to be silent. Yeah, you're like, this question probably dumb. I don't even want to ask, bro. But what is your question? There's no such thing as a dumb question. If you didn't know the answer to this question, now, all right, I say that with a grain of salt because you can ask a dumb, like if you know the question, if you can answer the question yourself and you just trying to troll or you trying to bull jive, right? Then that's a dumb question, right? But if you genuinely didn't know the answer to this question, you can answer this yourself with your own knowledge and with your notes or whatever you take, you know what I'm saying? Then it's a great question to ask. So, there's times where you got to speak up. And I have a video on that as well, speaking up. Um, but yeah, there's times where you got to speak up, bro, and you got to be able to talk and you got to be able to communicate. You don't just want to be silent all the time, but you want to be able to be silent when it's necessary to be silent, right? So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe down below. Join the crew, join the movement, join the movement. And let me know if you guys want more 48 Laws of Power content. You know what I'm saying? Very interesting book. A lot of game in here, a lot of, a lot of gems, a lot of jewels. And if you guys stuck around to the end of this video, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe, join the movement, like I said, and I'll see you on the next one.